You read the title right. I turned this to this in only 2 trades. I'm here to walk you through how. So in this video, we're going to talk about why I entered, how I entered, and basically how you can do it too. Let's get into it. Yo, so NZD updates on NZD trade is still valid. You can still see that the 4 hour is still bearish until we go and break this lower high. As we drop down towards the 1 hour time frame, you can see where our entry came. Our entry came before the pullback was established, and I was looking to really get in an early entry and just continue to route this trade towards the downside, but this trade ended up retracing a little bit deeper than I expected. A good thing is it never went to go break this 1 hour high. If anything, it formed that double top formation, which is good. And now on the lower time frames, you can see it's see clear as day. I drew this area of support out this morning when I broke it down, and I'm looking to see that break of structure, right? And instead of us having a break of structure occur right here, we can see clear as day the 15-minute time frame give us a break of structure of the recent higher highs, continuing in this uptrend market. And then come later tonight, I do see price trending bearish, going to break those recent support levels, coming back up to retest, and then giving us our entry, which we want to see, right? Just waiting on the next break of structure on the 15-minute time frame to be established. So this trade is still valid. Ended up getting in a little too early, which is okay, but I am still looking at NZD CAD for trade opportunities come later tonight. So updates, like always, will be posted. Just be next to your computer. The 4 hour time frame right now, we are above this zone in the next 2 hours and 22 minutes. If this 4 hour candlestick can close back below, we would look good to possibly look for sales come later tonight. So we'll have to be patient, wait for the lower time frame, such as the 15-minute time frame. So I was waiting for the 15-minute shift to structure like we're doing right now. It should continue towards the downside come later tonight. You can see how price, well, I was going to lie and say this was a head and shoulders. It's not the cleanest example, so I'm not going to use that. But we are forming this resistance, are forming this support, and as long as we can see price continue to trend towards the downside, we're looking good for sales. Early entry is what it is. We wait for later tonight for a better setup. So look for NZD CAD for your trade opportunities tonight, and we're going to see what happens. So update y'all later on. All right, y'all. So here's the after. On the daily time frame, you can obviously see how the market is trending bearish, right? And as we're trending bearish, you can see the flip from bearish to bullish due to the breakout of these recent lower highs. Price then had the continuation towards the upside, which was then followed by another break of structure back towards the downside due to us breaking past these recent higher lows. Once price broke past here, I was then just patient, and I wanted to see price off of the daily time frame tap back into this recent broken structure. Once price formed that retracement, as you can see, and we tapped back into the daily structure zone, I went towards my 4 hour time frame, and on this 4 hour time frame, if you don't know already, I then used the 4 hour to mark off the zone where I'm looking to take my trade from. So on the 4 hour time frame, you can see how price was trending bullish. As price was trending bullish due to the recent breakout of this recent lower high, you can see how we then had another switch of structure back down towards the downside, breaking past this recent higher low. Since this is the last recent area price has broken through, this is a zone I would like to use for my area of interest. And now, for me to validate this area of interest, I want to see more than 2 taps showing signs of rejection, allowing me to see that price is struggling to break through. So that's when I grabbed my box tool, and if you drag that box tool out towards the left, we can count the rejections towards this area. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I zoom out and I continue to drag this off towards the left, it's far, but I'm sure you can see the rejections still, right? Let me zoom in. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then this didn't happen. But we have 9 rejections towards this area of interest. If you ask me, 9 rejections is more than enough. Why? Because if price is showing you only 2 rejections towards an area and price then breaks through, you already know it's not a legitimate area of interest. Why? Because it broke through too easy. For me to use an area of interest to take a trade off of, I have to see multiple rejections. Show me that price is either struggling to break through from the upside or price is struggling to break through from the downside. Once I'm able to see that, I will then establish this to be a zone where I'm taking my trade off of and just be patient until either price is above this or below this zone in order for me to execute my position. So after we found this out on the 4-hour time frame, the first position we had, you can obviously see it ended up in us losing, but that was okay, because in order for this trade to be invalid, we would have to go and break past this recent lower high, giving us out of sync with the daily time frame, also being in a bullish trend. If the 4-hour is bullish but my daily is bearish, I simply don't trade. And don't worry about this weekly time frame because I don't use it. These are the only time frames I use in order to trade the market. Use it or don't. That's all up to you. I'm showing you what works. So until price can break past this recent lower high, I had no worries about finding a position in the market. So the only thing I wanted to see was price get back below this area of interest. Like you all know, when we are above, we treat this zone as support, we find rejection, and we continue towards the upside. But once price can break back below, go on to previous data, you can see how price gets below, forms that rejection, and continues towards the downside. So in this case, that is what I wanted to see. As we continue to drop down towards the lower time frame, you can see one on the 4-hour how price established a breakthrough underneath the zone. This is when I went towards the 15-minute time frame, and on the 15-minute time frame, I just waited for the shift of structure. Like you all know already, price was bullish, maintaining above the zone. Price then gave me a break of structure around here, going from bullish to then bearish, and as you can see, we got back underneath this area of interest. Once price got back underneath, you can see on the 1-hour time frame how we formed this beautiful bearish variation pattern. We have 2 bearish candles opening up, and then on that second bearish candle, we engulfed past that previous bullish candle, allowing me to see that sellers are in control, and more than likely this trade is about to drop down towards targets. So that's when I found my entry. Stops just above, and if you don't know, I like to target my 4-hour structure point lows, which was around here. And after price absolutely tanked, we was able to squeeze out a little bit more profits for around a 5.24 risk to reward in return. If I drag this up towards that 4-hour low, you can see how originally we was looking at a 2.34% in return. But I say this all the time, if you are right about your trade in a strategy that I do use, when I am right, I'm able to squeeze out entirely more profits than what I had before. Why? Because the trade was right. My technical analysis was right. And when your technical analysis is right, you can obviously see how it treats you extremely well in the back end. We was able to squeeze out, like I said, 5.24% in return. And that's how we caught this setup. Let's get into trade number 2. So both of these clips, these are the clips that was the beforehand of the breakdown. I recorded it basically predicting the market, right? And so I'm going back and I'm rewatching it. They have no sound. I don't know how I even missed that in the Discord. But what I'm going to do is right now I'm just going to go into replay mode. Of course, it's not live, but you get the gist of it. Just a little glimpse. And then after I show you that glimpse, I'm about to just jump in and start from there. So give me a second. All right, so on the daily, we were around this area, as you all can see. And so what we were looking at as the market opened, right, the beforehand, was I like to do 2 things. The 2 things that I like to do is, one, I want to make sure my daily is either in a bullish or a bearish trend, identify the trend of the market. And I want the 4-hour to either be in a bullish or a bearish trend, identifying whichever way the market is moving. And ultimately, I want the daily and the 4-hour to be in sync. So starting off, we was on the daily time frame. And on this daily time frame, I grab my tool and we just start drawing out structure. So I'm gonna start right here. You can see price had a higher high. I call these pivot points, right? These are only pivot points because it has not presented us with any type of break of structure. Higher lows, higher highs, lower lows, and lower highs only consist of break of structures. If you don't have one, I simply count it as a pivot point. That's it. That's all. So we have pivot, 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 and then once price broke these recent lows, we can now mark this off as being our lower high. We then have this lower low being here based off of the retracement price has formed, and then we had another pivot. You can obviously see price tried to give us a break of this recent lower high. Instead, it found resistance, forming a double top formation. As you can see, price then had the pivot, pivot, and then ultimately giving us the break of structure. And if I just take my line chart and I move it over here, you can understand why we are in a bearish trend. Once we were trending bullish, and then price did present us with the downwards move in the market, ultimately giving us the break of structure of these recent higher lows. Once price then formed that retracement, you can see how price attempted to break past this recent high area, well, lower high area, but instead it formed, I don't want that, it formed this double top situation. Once price formed this double top, it's not a confirmed double top until we're able to break out of the neckline price has formed. So after price formed that rejection, you can see how price then started to move back towards the downside. And as price is moving towards the downside, it then gave us the break of structure of those recent lower lows, now marking this off as being our new lower high. And now we're just waiting for price to form the retracement back towards this recent broken structure. Once that is able to happen, we will then continue with that breakdown. Oh, hold on, wait. I just had to pop this up to show y'all that I do call out everything. In the Discord, we have live calls, we have post-trade interviews, we have pre-market analysis, what we're doing to get into this trade, to stay into this trade, to get out of this trade. We have profits, we have announcements, we have a lot of things that I don't incorporate on YouTube for free. I put it into Discord. So keep in mind, if you do want to join the Discord, go to the link down below, click that link, and it's going to take you right to the Discord. It is $50 a month. So if you are willing to bet on yourself, willing to invest in yourself on a skill set that will bring you 10x the number that you invest, I do recommend. Let's continue. So based off of that alone, and we just drag this back over here into the market, you can obviously see how we are bearish. And the next thing we wanted to see was price have that pullback back towards the recent broken structure. And once price tapped back into, this is when I went towards the 4-hour time frame. On the 4-hour time frame, like I just told you all, I just want to make sure that price is in the same trend as the daily time frame. And off the 4-hour, this is how we find our zone. So on the 4-hour time frame, same thing, we grab our tool and we mark out structure. Price was in a downwards trend. You can see this right here, broke past these recent lows, forming that new lower high and forming this new lower low. Price then had the retracement, giving us another break of structure back towards the upside, and then followed up with another break of structure back down towards the downside. So now we are back in sync with the daily time frame being in a bearish trend. We have the recent break of structure established right here. And once price broke out of that recent higher low, this is when I grabbed my box tool, which is around here, and I dragged it along that recent broken structure. Why is that? On the 4-hour time frame, it's just simple as day. The recent break of structure, if the 4-hour is in sync with the daily time frame, is a zone I'm looking to take my trade from. If that is possible, we will then continue to break it down and go from there. So after we mark this zone off, I then zoomed out because I want to make sure this is a valid zone for us to use. What do I mean by that? Basically, I just want to see more than 2 or 3 rejections towards this recent zone we actually just drew out. So one off rip, you can see the first rejection being here, treated as support. If I zoom out and look towards the left, we then have another rejection, which is then followed by another rejection, making this 3 taps already in this zone, treated as support. You can obviously see once price taps back into this zone when we are hovering above, it finds rejection, treats it as support, and continues back towards the upside. And if I continue to go towards the left, previous data, you can obviously see the same thing happen again here, 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 and here. Ultimately, we're treating this zone extremely well as support / resistance. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rejections towards this area of interest. And like you all know, if anything takes more than 2 to 3 rejections for price to break through a level, this is a well respected zone. Why? Because clear as day, if you have a zone and price only has one tap and then breaks through, you can obviously tell it is not a respected zone. It's not strong enough to hold rejection, right? But if we have 3 rejections, 4, 5 rejections towards the zone, obviously showing us that price is struggling to get through, this is a valid zone to use. This is a well respected zone when price is above and when price is below. So after seeing that, we then verified this area as being a respected area to where we can take a trade from. So now we have the daily that is in a bearish trend, we have the 4-hour that is in a bearish trend, and last, I just want to see price get back below my zone. So right now we are hovering above, which is fine. Price is still maintaining this downwards trend. Price will have to give me a break of these recent lower highs in order for me to be not interested going from bearish to then bullish based off of this break of structure, and then price could possibly continue being out of sync with the overall daily time frame trend. So until we have an established break of structure around here, I'm not too worried about price being above my zone. Like we know, when price is above, it treats it as support. I simply just want to see price get back below. So the last thing I would love to see once price gets back below is this 15-minute time frame structure shift from bullish to then bearish. If you don't know, I do have a video talking about time frame correlation. On my YouTube, I break this down, allowing you to understand how time frame correlation works. Like we all know, the 15-minute time frame really controls the 30 and the 1 hour and possibly the 4 hour in a daily time frame to continue in the direction that you are overall looking for price to continue in. In this case, we have the daily and the 4 hour that is bearish. Right now, you can obviously see how the 15-minute is bullish, but in order for price to form the retracement back towards this 4-hour zone, remember that is the 4-hour zone that we have marked off, price had to go on the 15-minute time frame from bearish to bullish in order to tap back into this area. And since price is now bullish on the 15-minute time frame, and we know that since price had to get bullish to retrace back up, I want to see price go bearish in order for price to continue back down towards the downside, where I'm ultimately looking to take price towards. So right now, the 15-minute is bullish. We are maintaining above that zone, finding support and finding rejection towards this area. I simply don't like that. And what I wanted to see was price give me a break of structure, breaking out of this uptrend formation based off of the break of structure of this higher low. Once price can present me with the break of structure, we will then just look to enter off of the breakout of that 15-minute low. Looking something like that. Entry, stops above, and then like you all know, we target the 4-hour lows, bringing back a minimum of a 1 to 2. If a trade does not bring me back a minimum of a 1 to 2, I simply will not take it, because I'm not looking to get a 1-to-1. If I'm risking 100, I'm not looking back to get $100. I want to double or even triple the amount that I'm putting on the table. So if I'm risking 100, I want to see 200 back. If I'm risking 200, I want to see 400 back, and then so on and so forth, right? So we're waiting for the breakout to be established. And at the moment, you can obviously see we were trending above. So now let's get back into this pre-recorded video that we have that we talked about, and you can obviously see how price worked throughout the night in order to present us with an opportunity. Y'all, so we are still in this trade. Everything looks good. Everything is running smoothly. I just wanted to show y'all the account. We are currently floating around, is this live? I don't know. But we are floating around $230. Started at $50. I say it's been like a month, 2 months since we actually traded on the account. Again, took that to 192. This is the same account, as you can see. So you can see where the deposit came in at 192. I would pull up Sway Markets, but as I type it in, I can just show y'all that right now. Swaymarkets.com. Obviously, it's just not pulling up. We can go to Google, Sway Markets. Like, so it's not even popping up on the thing. Ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So I can't even show y'all really the deposit that I had on the account. Only thing I have is a screenshot. Again, I'll pop that up. But you can obviously see I don't know what happened with Sway. I just went away and I went back to my original broker, which is KOT Forex. We've been staying on there ever since. Currently floating around $240 in profit. We're nowhere close towards our overall TPs, but I do see our TPs getting hit come later tonight if price continues to fall like so. Whenever price is done playing out fully how I believe it will, I will cut the camera back on and show y'all the aftermath. So stay tuned for that and see how much we made. Alright, y'all, so this is the aftermath. We made around, boom, I'm gonna pop up the screenshot because I don't know off the top of my head. And let's bring the account to a total balance of, drumroll please, boom, $700. Well, close to $700. We was like $3 off. But the trade played out to perfection. Yeah, so only reason why I even deposited the $50 was to show you all that it is possible. It is not something that is far-fetched. It is not something that is not true, and it can't happen for you. The money will come. What I'm showing you is once you have a strategy, once you have a plan that works every single time you put it to use, how you can capitalize. I say this all the time. Once you find the skill, perfect the skill, and watch everything else roll in. And I want to leave y'all with this. I'm leaving y'all with scripture. 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 7. For we live by faith, not by sight. The Lord is telling you to continue to live with him in faith, believing in his word and his doing. Because you have faith in his word, because you have faith in the work that you are doing, and you continue to believe that it will happen, allow that to guide you. I love y'all. I'll see y'all in the next video. Y'all stay blessed. I pray that you continue to grow closer with our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I'm going.